because I'm supposed to go on a road trip with my friends. Hi guys, and welcome to another beautiful episode of Beyond the 9 to 5 podcast. I'm still your host, Dee, and I hope you guys have been doing well, and I hope you've listened to our last, I believe we've had like 4 episodes out or 3 episodes out so far. And thank you so much for the reception on the rebrand. I'm glad that you guys have been enjoying the episodes and you guys have been giving good feedback. Please listen, share, and don't forget that we're also on YouTube now, so we're uploading video content for each episode. So please go listen to them and go watch them and share and subscribe. We are Beyond the 9 to 5 podcast on YouTube. So today we're going to be talking about something very interesting. But before we get into that, in usual fashion, I have my drink here. This is just Smirnoff Ice. Just pause to take a sip of my drink. It is a long weekend in Vancouver, so I hope whoever that is listening to this, that at this time the long weekend will probably be over at the time that this episode is out. But I hope you guys have a good long weekend and you guys are enjoying the sun, because already in August, September is coming soon. Unfortunately, we're going to be going into the winter months very soon, not to dampen the mood of the Debbie Downer. But like I said, today we're talking about something really interesting. But before we go into that, in usual fashion, we're going to be reading Reddit posts, like funny Reddit posts, in regards to jobs, workplace. It could be anything. And if you feel like you guys have anything funny that you want me to read or anything, it doesn't even have to be funny. It could be a workplace rant or anything that you feel like I could share and other people can listen and learn from or get a good laugh out of. Please send it to me. So this says, when looking for a job, what is a dead giveaway that a place and the job is a hellhole to work for? Somebody said, always ask what happened to the person in position before you. Engage the look on the interviewer's face and the moment the question registers in their mind. If they look pained or disgusted, take that as a very bad sign. I don't know about that. Unfortunately, lots of jobs that seem to come easily are because someone walked out because it was a shit position. Again, I don't agree, but okay, this is supposed to be lighthearted. So and then somebody else says, I recently asked a potential employer, where can someone who works hard at the job be in 5 years? And then I guess the question meant, like, is there upward mobility? Like, what's the opportunity to move forward in the company? And then this person says, hopefully somewhere else. That was the answer they got. Another person says, any kind of telesales business. A lot claim they don't have a high turnover of staff. Turns out it's a fancy way of saying we like lying to people. Okay, I guess that's enough Reddit post for today. We'll get into the actual episode for the day. So today's episode is actually quite interesting, like I said already. We're going to be talking about the correlation or what we can learn from The Devil Wears Prada. Now, for you guys that have not watched this movie, why have you not watched it? So we're basically going to be exploring The Devil Wears Prada and what the movie teaches us about workplace culture, leadership, and finding the right balance between your work life and your home life. So let's get started. So before I go in, I'm going to do a brief synopsis of the movie for those of us that have not watched it. I'll try not to give as much spoilers, because I'm guessing a lot of people will probably go try and watch it after this episode. I hope you do, because it's actually quite a good movie. So for those of you that may not be familiar with it, The Devil Wears Prada is a 2006 movie based on a novel. The writer's name is Lauren. It follows the journey of Andy Sachs. Now, Andy is this badass
Please bore
boss.
someone else with your question.
Okay, Andy's not the
Hello?
boss. Andy's
Miranda,
the one
hi.
that got
Look,
hired
I'm
for the
trying
job.
to get you a flight,
So
but no one is
she's
flying
a
out because
recent
of the
college
weather.
graduate.
Please,
She's
it's
aspiring
just
to be a journalist,
drizzling.
and she gets a
Well, someone
job
must be getting
as an
out.
assistant
Call
to Miranda
Donatella, get her
Priestley.
jet.
Now, Miranda is the badass boss, and
I'll say to
she's like
myself,
a
"Go ahead.
notorious demanding
Take a
editor-in-chief of
chance.
Runway magazine.
Higher.
If anybody knows Anna
Smart.
Wintour, editor-in-chief of Vogue, imagine Anna Wintour but different. Anyways, Andy was looking for a job. She just finished a journalist school, and then she went for an interview in a runway magazine company. I guess it's a fashion company. And when she got the job, at first she was struggling to adapt to the high pressure of the fashion world, but over time she learned. She was very, very persistent, and work culture was very, 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 very good. And then throughout the movie, her experience is a roller coaster. She's getting good at her job, but at the same time, like, she's not happy. Her work-life balance is poor. She's working long hours. She's losing to spend time with her family, her boyfriend. It's affecting her relationship. But at the end of it, she kind of learned a lot of things, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So now we need to basically relate lessons from the movie, from Andy's journey to our modern workplaces, because I was watching the movie again. I've probably watched it like 6 times, and I was watching with my friend the other day, and I'm like, imagine if this happens in 2024. And I'm pretty sure that as I was thinking about it, I realized that it probably still happens to a lot of people. And it's so interesting how we can learn a lot of things about the workplace from this movie. Like, many of us have faced like demanding jobs, demanding bosses, the struggle to maintain a healthy work-life balance is such. I tell people that your workplace and your manager can make or mar your experience in life. Like, if you're going into work, you spend 9 hours of your 24 hours, at least 9 hours at work, probably an extra 2 hours commuting. That's already 10 hours outside of 24 hours that you're spending to and fro from work and at work at the same time. The remaining 10 hours you're probably sleeping. That's already like 22 hours. So, like, from essentially you probably only get like 4 hours of the day to yourself during Mondays to Friday. So your work-life experience can make or mar your entire living experience, essentially. And so we're going to use The Devil Wears Prada, like I said, as a case study. So the first thing that we need to understand today is workplace culture. So we're going to kick things off by talking about the intense workplace culture at Runway magazine. And I took notes. If you see me looking at my phone, that's because I'm taking notes. I'm talking to my folks on YouTube. So picture this: high fashion, high stakes, and even the heels are higher, because like when she first started the job, she was wearing like this basic shoes, and she had to start wearing like stilettos, 6-inch heels, because she was working on like this big fashion magazine where like the stakes were very high. Have you ever worked? Now we're gonna pause, and I'm going to put a poll on Spotify, Apple, wherever it is that you're listening to, and you can comment on YouTube as well when you're watching this episode. Have you ever worked in a high pressure environment? How did it feel? Can you share your stories with me? Put it in the comments, put it in the poll when you're listening to this episode, because I'm just very curious, watching that movie, how I would have felt if I was Andy in that situation, working in that high pressure that has like high stakes, high deliverables all the time. It's like you're constantly thinking of work. Now, the Devil Wears Prada, in the Devil Wears Prada, Runway, the company, is a place where like perfection is the standard and personal sacrifice is expected. You're expected to sacrifice your life for the job. The culture is driven by Miranda Priestley and her relentless pursuit of excellence, and the employees are expected, like I said, to prioritize work above all else. So like you have to do Miranda's bid whenever Miranda needs you. I remember there was this part of the movie where she needed to get her twins the new episode, the new Harry Potter book, and it was not even out yet. There was no manuscript for it. It's like the writer J.K. Rowling, according to in the movie, anyways, had not even released the manuscript for there to even be a new book out. And she told Andy that she wanted the new book and she wanted it today. But anyways, while in the movie, like I was saying, while they were striving for excellence, and that is commendable, I'm happy for them, but a workplace culture that demands you to sacrifice your personal life. Like, there was one of the scenes where she was on a date with her boyfriend and her friends, and essentially she got a call that that one wasn't even the craziest one. The craziest one, I think, was when she got the call. She was with her dad, and her dad came to visit her in New York, and she got a call from Miranda that she was stuck somewhere and she needed to get a flight out of the place. Meanwhile, there was like hurricane or something going on. Like, there was no flight out. All flights were grounded, and her boss wanted her to make sure to find a flight for her to leave the country or wherever it is that she was, so she could go for her daughter's recital. And this girl left her dinner with her dad, walking around New York, making several calls. Like, a workplace culture that demands personal sacrifices can lead to burnout and dissatisfaction. And I know we've talked about burnout and several episodes ago, but it is important for us to work for organizations that balance high standards with support and recognition of employees' personal needs. In modern workplaces, it is very, very essential that we work with companies that promote open communication, where we feel supported and valued. Like, I feel like it's okay to have high standards. Companies like KPMG, Deloitte, they have very high deliverables. But at the same time, I don't know anybody that works for those companies, but I assume that they make up for those high deliverables, one, with good pay, but essentially also with like taking care of the employees. I know companies that have like tech companies, like big tech companies that have like what's it called now? They have spas, they have gyms, so employees can take a break. Even if you're working a long day, you can take a break and go use the gym or something. Like, they have like playrooms for people to just go in and just rest. So like, that movie did not encourage a healthy work-life balance. Absolutely not. The workplace she would walk into the office and everybody scrambles, everybody's running around trying to like figure out, like, imagine like somebody is walking in and everybody's like running around and closing their office doors. It's insane to me. Like, I cannot imagine having that kind of workplace. The anxiety every morning when you wake up before you go to work, like, I would literally just, I would quit. Like, I can't do it. But I guess the fashion industry is different. Again, I'm just using this movie very loosely. I'm talking about it very loosely. And while on the note of leadership and workplace culture, we're also going to be dissecting Miranda's leadership style. Like, love the lady, I hate the lady, I'm sorry, but like, this movie she's the definition of girl boss, essentially. Like, she's the definition of girl boss. I can't even lie about that. Like, we can't deny that. Like, but at the same time, her style of leadership was one that led from a place of fear. Like, she led from a place of fear to get results. She instilled so much fear, so much worry, so much anxiety in her employees that they needed to get results. But on the flip side, I understand where she's coming from, essentially, because she's also a boss and she's a woman, and she's an older woman in that industry that already doesn't even respect women in the first place. So the pressure on her was so much that she let that trickle down to her employees. Like, and also she was battling her personal life. She was having issues in her personal life, so she made work everything. Like work was like her life. Her life revolved around work, and that led to her leadership style, where she was very, very autocratic. Her standards, like for a team to perform at their insane best, like she wanted like everything to be perfect, and it's so impossible. Like at what cost did she want that to happen? I think about it again and I'm like, that was like, it's insane. And I would be unrealistic if I say that this still doesn't happen. I'm pretty sure there are workplaces where this happens still. While her leadership style was effective in maintaining high standards, like obviously Runway magazine in the movie, like everybody could see, it was like one of the most widely read magazines. Every model, they had like all the top models and everything based on the movie, right? It led to lots of people quitting. Like we literally saw it in the movie where what's her name now, I can't remember her name, what's the lady's name, Emily in the movie was probably her longest lasting executive assistant. The 24 hours working, she was neglecting her mental health, her physical health. She ended up in the hospital because of the job, and she was the only long-lasting one because she was the only one that was willing to put up with the whole thing. And like we could see that the company kept on losing employees, or Miranda essentially kept on losing employees. Now, fun fact, Meryl Streep, the host of the person that acted Miranda Priestley, she softened the voice in the movie to make the character more intimidating without raising it. And I feel like that is such a key thing, because like in the workplace we think it's the boss that raises their voice at all. So it's the boss. There's subtle ways to exert coercion, to exert fear without actually being like, oh, what are you doing? What are you not doing today? Have you done the job? Like micromanagers, the ones that make you go grab lunch for their families and go drop stuff off in their houses, the ones that don't have boundaries, like those kind of bosses. It's so interesting how we still see that today. And I was watching the movie, and like I said, I probably said this several times already, I was blown away. Effective leadership, honestly, I have this down. Effective leadership should inspire and motivate and not intimidate you. This is what I wrote down. Leaders who balance high expectations with empathy and support tend to foster a more sustainable and positive work environment. And honestly, your manager can make or mar your experience. I cannot say this enough. And if you're a person that is moving or in line to become a manager, or you're eyeing a managerial role, and you would have people working below you, you have subordinates, if you don't take anything away from this episode, try as much as possible to take this away. It is essential that you foster a positive work environment. Nothing beats coming into work in the morning and knowing that you're going to do your work, you're going to do your work well, and you're going to go home without anybody inducing anxiety. Like nobody wants to come into work. The same way you get paid as a boss and as a manager is the same way I get paid, right? Like it's not anybody's rightful inheritance. Like they're not going to give you the company, so why are you coming in and making other people's lives miserable? Now, a third thing that this movie, that I've taken away from this movie, and I know I've talked about this several times, I've said this again and again and again and again: work-life balance. Now, this is where Andy Sachs comes in. She's the protagonist or the antagonist, I don't even know, but the movie essentially revolves around her. I don't know what the difference is, or I can't remember right now. Her journey is a roller coaster of stress and self-discovery. Like, I cannot even imagine being Andy Sachs. Well, to some extent, like, I'm probably going to go on a tangent here, but she was kind of selfish at some point. But hey, that's me. Let's focus on what we're talking about. Talking about the movie, what's you guys' favorite way to unwind after a stressful day? Like, what would you do to kind of like, would you drink a glass of wine? Would you go for walks? What would you do after like you've had like a stressful day? Share that with me in the comments. So back to what we're talking about. So Andy initially neglects her personal life for the sake of her career, but it cost her a couple of things before she realized the importance of work-life balance. And the way she transformed just reminds us that work is not everything. It's not. It's not. It's absolutely is not everything, because she realized that at first she was trying to meet every demand that was placed on her. She didn't have boundaries at work. Everything that they gave to her, she was accepting everything. She was accepting every task. Emily would hand things over to her and she would just take it with, like, there's a word in Nigeria that's called mumu. She'll just take it like a mumu and just be like, okay, thank you. She'll go do it. It's like, it's ridiculous. She was sacrificing her friendships. She sacrificed her relationship with her boyfriend. She sacrificed her personal happiness, because I guess it's like a rush. It's a rush. It's so addictive. And it took her seeing the path that Miranda was going down on. That was when she was like, no, I don't want to be this, because Miranda did something to one of her other co-workers. I can't remember his name now. And it was she was very cutthroat. She basically slied him and stabbed him in the back. He was supposed to get offered a job. They'd already offered him the job, and then she went behind him because she was gonna get fired, because they were going to replace her with another person. So essentially she gave the person that they were going to replace her with the job that she had promised somebody else, just to protect herself. And that was when Angie realized that I don't want to be this. Like, why is he so cutthroat and so like backstabbing? Everybody's just like out to get themselves. And it just makes you realize that achieving work-life balance is essential for long-term career satisfaction. Sorry, I just took a pause of my drink. There's nothing anybody can tell me. And I'm going to give you guys a real life tip. If you don't take anything away from this, take this. Encourage yourselves to set boundaries, such as not checking emails after hours. I do this. I'm so bad at it. But I'm the same way I'm telling you guys, I'm telling myself as well. And take regular breaks. And every job or every task that comes across your desk, sometimes if your capacity is too high for it, just say, you know what, I can't do this today. Do you have a timeline in mind of when you need this done? And just use that timeline as yourself. Don't beat yourself down and thinking you have to be Miss Perfect, Mr. Perfect to get everything done on time. That's not how it works. Work with organizations that can support you by promoting a culture that respects personal time. Even your lunch break, don't walk into your lunch break. Don't be like, oh, I didn't take lunch today. Why? Because work was so busy. Like, it's a paid lunch. There's a reason why you're paid for it, to take the lunch. Take your lunch break now. Please. Leave work when you're supposed to leave. And even if you do end up staying at work longer, make up for it the next day. Your mental health, your physical health is not worth sacrificing for any job. And I will say that again and again. Protect yourself always. Now, we've talked about some of the things, the leadership styles, the work-life balance, the workplace culture that we can kind of learn from Devil Wears Prada. But let's talk about the lessons. Open communication. it's very, very important to have an environment. If you're a manager, even you, if you're a subordinate, do you do one-on-one meetings with your boss? Do you have conversations about where you are with your deliverables and your projects? Having or working with organizations where open communication and you can have open dialogue is very important, because this can lead to like a more supportive and cohesive workplace. It's very, very important to have check-ins and feedback sessions with your boss, having those conversations. One-on-ones, sometimes they get redundant, but honestly, they're a very, very useful tool. You don't have to always, like, you can set your one-on-ones like every other week or every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. It doesn't have to be like all the time, but like one-on-ones are an opportunity for you to express your ideas and your concerns and your feedback, or even your projects. Like, this is a time for you to speak for yourself. And also, if you're a manager, if you're a leader and you're listening to this episode, strive to understand and support your team member. Don't be like Miranda Priestley, that was all about the drive, the money. I empathize with her as a woman, as an older woman. It's a cutthroat industry, but just talking loosely again based on the movie, like, having empathy while working as a leader can lead to like higher morale, and it can even lead to higher productivity, which will essentially at the end of the day help your bottom line. Like, organizations should offer leadership trainings and programs to develop emotional intelligence. I tell you, 5% of the work of a leader is actually doing the work. The remaining 95% is managing people, is managing people's emotions, is having emotional intelligence, knowing what to say, and effectively communicating, honestly. Like, and also the third thing to learn is setting boundaries. I already talked about this. Please set boundaries to protect your personal time and your personal well-being. There is nothing absolutely more important than your health. If your company, I'm pretty sure most companies have clear policy on working hours and expectations for when you're available. If you're supposed to be in the office at 8, be in the office at 8 and leave at 4. Disconnect from your work emails outside of work if you're on a holiday. Some people work on vacation. Why are you working on vacation? The emails are going to be there when you come back from vacation. Enjoy your bathing at the beach. Enjoy your Mai Tais. Like, why are you checking emails and jumping on team meetings and circling back on vacation? Why? I'm so passionate about it because, like, it's something that a lot of people do, and it drives me insane. Why are you available when you're on vacation? Your vacation is a time for you to step away from work. Please stop doing that if you've been doing it. And also work for companies that recognize and reward employees for their hard work and achievements. We saw a lot of Andy and Emily's work not being rewarded. They were going above and beyond for this person, and she barely even appreciated them. The one time that Andy could not get her a flight out of the country, she was so pissed, she was so mad, she started treating her differently. It's so important that we work for companies that recognize our hard work. And it doesn't even have to be a raise, it doesn't even have to be like money or anything. Money would be nice, don't get me wrong, like, who doesn't want a raise? But even a simple thank you, positive reinforcements, it boosts morale and reduces burnout. It does. Like, an example of that is hosting monthly or quarterly award ceremonies. I don't know if companies have time for this, but celebrate outstanding contributions. It could even be a letter just saying, oh, well done for doing this. And also, I feel like a lot of companies do this now. Like, I've worked with like 3 companies so far that have employee family assistance program that helps support people's mental health being. It's a resource and it's a support program. It supports your mental and physical health. It includes wellness programs, counseling services, and flexible work options. Companies have like yoga classes. Companies have mediation sessions. Like I said, companies will pay for your gym membership. Some even have gyms on site. So these are things that can help people, that we can learn from the Devil Wears Prada. Now, let's do a quick poll. You guys can comment when you listen to this episode. Comment on YouTube, comment on Instagram, Beyond the 9 to 5. Which strategy do you guys think is most effective for improving workplace culture? Do you think it's open communication? Do you think it's empathetic leadership? Do you think it is setting boundaries? Do you think it's recognizing or rewarding or providing resources for well-being? Let's see what you guys think. I think it's a little bit of everything, honestly. Like, everything just makes it a better experience for everyone that works there. Now, that is a wrap on our dive and our synopsis on The Devil Wears Prada in relation to like the workplace culture and leadership styles. We've learned, I think if you've not taken anything away from this episode, you should take this away, that while high standards are important, it's important to set high standards for yourself, for your employees, for the leaders in the company. Empathy and work-life balance is a key to a healthy workplace. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This is a little bit out of my wheelhouse. I just wanted to try something different because I feel like we can all learn something from this movie. If you've not watched The Devil Wears Prada, what are you doing? What universe are you from? You should go watch it. I think it's on Netflix till the end of August. I'm not sure, but you should probably find it on Prime, or you might have to rent it on Prime. I'm not sure, but the last time I watched it was on Netflix. You guys watch it. Let me know what you think when you watch it. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe on Spotify, Beyond the 9 to 5. Listen on YouTube and watch us on YouTube, Beyond the 9 to 5 podcast. Follow us on Instagram. What are you doing if you're not following us on Instagram at Beyond the 9 to 5 podcast? And I'm still your host, D, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. I love you guys so much. Again, thank you so much for listening, and bye.